Hey there, everybody. Getting together with you back at the table today on this Friday, July 31st. I had a bunch of notes for different things politically, reports. As many of you know, if you're here with me on the channel, I take some time, probably about an hour before I start taping, and I just sit with the stories, reporting that's happening right now. I go to the spirit guides and I say, okay, what do where do I need to tap in? But today, bear with me, y'all. This is one, is it time to celebrate? Yesterday, last 2 days, I don't know about you, but I've been seeing social media lit up based on Trump's astrology especially around the eclipse on August 12th, that this is really the eclipse in Leo, I think it is, while conflicting or conjuncting or something. I'm not an astrologer, but conjuncting with his rising sign in Leo, with the South Node having moved into Leo. So there's a lot of stuff like it just gets you like, okay, because 1 plus 1 does equal 2 last time I checked, right? So I want to check and see. Like yesterday and the day before, so people have been like, look, y'all, for real, get your champagne together, or if you don't, your sparkling cider or whatever it is you're going to do to celebrate, get your materials in order, because something is coming in August around him. Now, the skeptic in me, the journalist in me goes, okay, it may not be a literal exit stage left, but that's what I'm going to ask. But it could also be where, because of some threat to his health or his abilities or something drastic that happens with him, that he amps up even more desperately, i.e., something with Iran or war or whatever. We know he's in Camp David today with his cabinet, you can call it that, with his cabinet, hatching who knows what kind of plan. But essentially today, and that is why I bust out with the music tarot, let's see what comes around him in general in the month of August. Is there something to it? Will we know also that JD had a little sit down with Netanyahu, who was none too pleased with JD, basically, I think, saying, listen, buddy, if you're getting ready to take the Oval because something happens with old boy, you need to have an understanding of our relationship, right? Don't think you're going to get in here and change things, because JD has been, well, JD's a chameleon. He'll shift into whatever he needs to shift into. But he has sort of taken a different tone around the war and around carte blanche support for Israel's military. So let's get into it, y'all. Thank you always for being here. I appreciate you, all the good things. Mwah, I really do. All right, let me get centered. Spirit. The month of August for Trump, and you know who I mean by that. The month of August. Will there be some drastic shift with him based on his astrological transits, his energy, South Node in Leo, karma? Will we see something? Will there be reason to celebrate? Will the American public and the globe celebrate in the month of August due to some event with who I call Trump? Is there something coming in August? We got the Ace of Coins. Ooh, and the Wheel of Fortune. And the Lovers. All right. If I don't ignore major arcana, even if it comes on the bottom of the deck. So Ace of Coins. That does feel like something new. Pentacles for me, or coins, is very often related to the body and related to health. And related to something like for real, tangible in the 3D world reality happening around him. So there is something, some new development around him. Wheel of Fortune is karma, and that is ruled by Jupiter. Got David Bowie on there. I love it. And the Lovers, and he is a Gemini, right? So there is something. Let's go further. There is a new development in his health, maybe a new diagnosis or something new that comes to light around him, and it is very karmic in nature. Like he got it coming, and there's no getting around it. We have the Knight of Wands. So it spreads quickly. The news of this spreads quickly. The Eight of Pentacles. And the Six of Wands. I almost get that Eight of Pentacles is mastery, skills, coming in Pentacles again. So if this is a health related matter, it makes me wonder if in fact this is Knight of Wands, the message spreading very, very quickly around his health. And the Six of Wands, there's nothing they can do to stop it because of that karma, the Wheel of Fortune. There's nothing they can do to stop the news going out. Trying to spin it, trying to do a Mitch McConnell on him, should it get to that point, you know, and basically, or a weekend at Bernie's, as a lot of people have talked about, not going to work. There's too much fire being lit here. The Eight of Swords. He's very afraid. The Seven of Swords. This man is terrified. He'll never show it, of course. The media will never, you know, tell us the truth about that, but this man is terrified, y'all. He that's why he sits up all night tweeting and doing his thing. He is terrified. And he doesn't trust anybody. Like paranoia has set in with that Seven of Swords. Paranoia has set in. He doesn't know who to trust. He's not trusting the doctors. He's not trusting anybody. And his mind has gone to mush. Five of Wands. So of the many things that we've been seeing in terms of a possible health event around him is, even if it's not a complete exiting stage left, it could be that his energy just completely is depleted. Like the battles, the constant battles in his mind to just give him, to continue to convince himself of his own deception. Because at this point, the sycophants, you know, the ones that are hanging on and telling him how wonderful he is and are fearlessly to death, he's not even that's not satisfying his appetite any longer. It's not working. Ten of Swords. Ooh, amping up on the swords. Why don't we? But I haven't seen major. You know, I haven't seen the Tower. I haven't seen death. I haven't seen judgment. Spirit, is this something that literally moves him out of office? I'm seeing the internal angst and recognition. He's very afraid of what could happen to him. Is he out of there? Will we celebrate? Is he out of there? Temperance. Five of Cups. Six of Cups. And the Chariot. This again is a health event. Temperance, at least for me, the way I read it very often, is a card of when it comes to someone's health, trying to seek healing, trying to search for healing, trying to try different methods, different medications, different mixtures, different things to try and keep him alive. But it's not working. Five of Cups, Six of Cups comes behind it, trying something different. And I almost get that this is the dementia, him reverting to, and perhaps doing it in a even more and more public way, you all, reverting to the past where it just simply cannot be covered up. He will say, blurt, do things that are so incredibly like, can you imagine that? So his dementia is going to really come to the fore. And the Chariot. Now, what I get from that is, even if he is technically still with us, is there an effort to begin to literally move him up out of there? Is this maybe a JD thing? Is this the cabinet saying we're in Ruby at Marco? The others saying, oh, y'all, we're in trouble? Strength. And strength is ruled by who? Leo. His Leo ascendant, right? South Node in Leo, karma. We saw the Wheel of Fortune coming up. And the Chariot. Spirit, is this JD and the cabinet getting together? And is that this paranoia? In August, we're going to see something where they make a move against him, against Front, the star. But here's the deal. The star is very often it's things in motion, but it takes time. It's very often where, in a positive context, it represents hope, but it also represents Aquarius. So while we're talking about the South Node in Leo, karma, and what's being dealt with on the back end, on the front end is the star, Aquarius, and what needs to be done on a greater stage or on a larger collective whole. So when we're looking at that strength in that chariot, you all, I think, and again, this is all energy and energy changes, but what I'm getting from all of that, there not necessarily reason to celebrate in August because of the big boom boom gone, right? But there will be something that comes to light in August where it opens the window for the cabinet, JD, and whoever's going to start to switch side, go that way, to begin to actually move against him, whether that is allowing something about him to come forward that would force Congress to 25th Amendment him. Spirit, is that what we're going to see? Will we see 25th Amendment moving before the elections? Because, see, that's part of the, thank you, Spirit, that's part of the deal. They need something big to happen to regenerate or revitalize their base to try and get those votes in the midterms. Hangman. Let's consider Nine of Cups. Let's consider what we want to really happen here if we want to stay in power. And the Nine of Wands. Let's push forward. This is also around JD. He doesn't have none of them trust each other. He doesn't have a solidified, where they've all gotten together in cahoots. Him, Rubio, certainly, Susie Wild, certainly Stephen Miller, certainly Besant, all of them. JD Vance doesn't have enough of a gel among them yet, but he thinks he can get it. That's why we're seeing the Hangman, and because he realizes Nine of Cups, everybody basically wants the same thing, which is we don't want him, basically. We don't want him. The purpose that he served, the power that he had, all diminishing right in front of our eyes. And how long can we continue to push? Nine of Wands. How long can we continue to push this? Will we see this change happen by the midterms? Will there be a change in who sits in the Oval by the midterms, Spirit? Will there be a change in who sits in the Oval by the midterms? Ten of Cups. Two of Wands. And Eight of Wands. That feels like, okay. Ten of Cups feels like a timing, perhaps October, all right? Or 10 weeks, something around. This feels more numeric than anything to me. Something in a 10 frame. Two of Wands, future focused. Eight of Wands, quickly having to move, having to make a decision, having to shift things around, having to, who sits in the Oval. And the last card was the World, completion. I think the change is not going to be necessarily, oh boy, out of here, out of here. But it is going to be some sort of shift in who sits in power, and a concerted effort to move him out of power, which is going to make him more desperate. That's what he's worried about. All those swords that we saw. It's going to make him more desperate because he's wacky, but he's not completely stupid. He understands deception, and he sees it happening all around him. All right, you all. The other thing that I do want to look at today outside of him is AI. Okay, and the saying, they're eating the books. Remember that, they're eating. Talk about JD. They're eating the cats. They're eating. Blah. I don't even want to repeat that, right? But we know what happened with the books, right? Apparently AI, these AI companies, Anthropic and OpenAI, they're going out, they're getting these books, they're feeding their machines because they're thirsty for data. Like that's their whole premise, right? So they're out here getting all these rare books and scanning them and destroying them. So there's a big backlash around that. People are being told, keep your books, rare booksellers, because they've been doing it anonymously. So there, it's not just that booksellers are like, hey, here, have it, who cares? That these companies, these AI companies, are buying this stuff. They're doing it sort of like a shadowy way. They don't realize that the booksellers don't realize that this stuff is going to go out there and be destroyed. So there's a backlash against that. But also, we understand that both Anthropic and OpenAI have breached companies' data, and like, so what was supposed to be done in testing mode actually kind of went in real life mode, from what I'm understanding. And so they breached the internet. Like there was this overlap, and they're having to come out and say, oops, our bad, we didn't, we're so sorry that this happened. But this has also rung a lot of alarm bells about, again, the potential dangers of AI without regulation. So we know that I saw something in the EU, the European Union, in Brussels. They have gotten together a committee, something to that effect, where they are literally in the EU beginning to hold, or are planning to hold AI's feet to the fire, AI companies' feet to the fire with regulations to prove security, because there is the danger then, if they can run amok, if these models can go rogue and gain access to companies' real data or the internet, what's to stop? The Pentagon, right? What's to stop? Not a panic person, that's not where I'm going with that. But the reality of it, the risk of it, the real-time risks of these models, so-called testing models, being able to gain access, and then what? Cybersecurity, internet going down, what is going to happen? So I want to see if Spirit, are we going to see right now? They're making so much money off of this. They just don't want to they don't want to stop. They don't want the guardrails. Spirit, are we going to see the guardrails have to be put in place sooner rather than later? Based on these breaches, are we going to see some brakes put on AI? Congress, Two of Wands, the future. Because the risks, this is more than just data, water consumption and toxicity and environmental concerns. This has gone next level. This is the billionaire class looking up and saying, hey, they're coming and grabbing our stuff, and judgment. Absolutely, y'all. There's going to be a reevaluation of what the heck they're doing with AI. And Two of Wands, it's more future focused. Two is not it's not a mature card, if you'll call it that. It's more in the planning stages. It's more in the potential stages. So looking at the potential of what AI could do in the future with judgment, absolutely there's going to be an evaluation of that, of these testing models. And the Four of Wands, I think this is maybe going to be companies, the billionaire class, recognizing, hey, we may be making money off, hand over fist in the stock market off of AI, right? That's what's propping up the economy. But they're going to band together to say that does not mean that we want to absolutely open the doors to our data and our structure, our actual money maker, to you, AI, Anthropic, OpenAI, all you guys, and the Knight of Coins. Yes, I think this is practical regulations that we are going to see put in place, barring or to precipitate any sort of serious, like, what, you're gonna go into the banking system? You're gonna shut down the internet? What are you gonna do if you're running rogue? Ten of Coins, the money. They want to protect the money. Seven of Cups, we got to protect the money. How are we going to do it? There's too many avenues to a potential calamity here. How are we going to protect our money? Ten of Coins. So it's not, here's what's in, and the Chariot. Yeah. So it's gonna be down the road a little bit, perhaps even after the elections next year, when the House and Congress takes over, we're going to see some regulations put in place. But what's interesting again, and not in a good way. It's interesting that the what makes sense to so many people to have already put these regulations in place as it relates to water and electricity and the impact on the environment, the things that impact people. No, what really gets them moving is they're worried about their money. They're worried about their business. They're worried about these models gaining, hacking into their businesses. Four of Swords, yep. We can't have it. Got to get clear on it. And the world, we have to stop it. The implications around the world, around world economies, around, and especially the banking system, I'm getting, is what they're afraid of. Four of Cups and the Moon, disillusioned with it. They are a little they meaning the billionaire class, meaning the muckety mucks who have been the ones behind racing without thought to promoting and pushing AI. I mean, think about it, you all, right? How crazy has this gotten over the last, basically since he got back in office, right? Over the last couple of years or year and a half or so. Like, unbelievable how everything's just taken off. And it's been behind this money and the money class giving him all of this, and his people, giving them all this money in order to get the green light to do whatever they were going to do. So the Four of Cups is, there's going to be some disappointment around the party getting crashed, right? This our ability to continue to run amok, to continue to basically run the economy, to continue to be the only thing that the Wall Street, etc., can hang its hat on right now and say, stick with us, we got you, we'll all get rich. That's what's been put at risk. Really, really interesting. So it's gonna, I think before it goes completely crazy, the ones who stand to lose the most, the billionaire class, versus working on behalf of the people, right? Which should be the reason. But you start messing with our money, you start hacking our systems, and we don't know what you might do in the meantime. That's enough for us to try to pump the brakes on it. So that's what I got, you all. Really take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. The heat is crazy. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Chins up, shoulders back. All right? Celebrate anyway in August, because we're all here, and continue to support one another. Continue to stay informed. Be careful. Don't, we can't all believe the very first thing we see. Do the research, try to verify, and know the sky is above you as your heart beats. Sky above us, right? Source, earth beneath us, keeping us stable. Mother Earth, right? Having a comeback in a big way, right? And we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this, all right? Members meeting, if you're a member of the channel, members meeting live with me, and that's part of my bonus offering to you all. I can't wait. Members live meeting on Zoom on Sunday, the 2nd, at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I did a post on the members page, so if you're a member, go check the posts and you'll see it with the details of how to join. It is private via Zoom. And if you want to join my membership and participate, there's a link for how to join in the description box below. All right. I'll talk to y'all real soon. Be good out there. Bye.